We're talking when we did our first, was it Kansas was the first or second episode? I think was Kansas. And he was like, guys kept talking about this damn pine patch. I don't even know where the hell that is. I was like, that's the pee-pee. He's like,
yeah.
Pine patch?
Oh, your dad kills it. He's like, I'm going to get on that pee-pee and I'm just going to ride it out the whole week.
Yeah, you do that.
He said, that pee-pee's been good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. A little stiff when I get out of it, but you know.
Bam.
Bam. Bam.
Like there's less pressure every time I get on it.
Well, we're actually on episode 10 now.
Yeah. This is episode 10.
Yeah. If you listen to the last one, said it was 10, really was 9.
Yeah, I was so confident too.
You're just excited. Must have been excited for this one.
I was real, yeah. I do that sometimes where I'm just like, I'm so sure about something and then.
I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, it's 10. 10 sounds right.
I can be pretty convincing too.
I fell for it.
I know you did. Everyone did. Nobody questioned me. Ian was sitting over there thinking that he's like, I lost the last one. He's like, oh crap.
Hard to say if you were just a good salesman or I was like, okay.
These guys are gonna kill me.
Yeah. 10 sounds great.
Yeah.
Now we're at 10.
So yeah, number 10.
Number 10.
That means it's been 10 weeks since we started.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty impressive.
Like 2.5 months.
Consistency.
Almost.
Frequency.
Yeah, just over 2 months.
We're actually doing this one a day early than we normally do because we're about to hell of a journey ahead of us.
Head out of here. Thanks for being flexible, guys, for coming in today.
New podcast, number 9, dropped last night. So if you haven't listened to that, make sure you take a step back.
Ian says it was his favorite yet, which is funny because I feel like...
How do you feel about that, Ian? I mean, you are here, then you listen to it, you produce it, then you listen to it again?
It's like, yeah, we made that.
His face is like, don't judge me.
The smooth sounds of HUNTR podcast.
Yeah. I like it too. I think it's fun to listen to. My wife's always making, she's like, why are you've already had this conversation. Why are you just listening and watching to yourself? I was like, I think it's pretty good.
And it's like, it's similar. I would imagine it's similar to having kids. Like, I'm like, I made that. I look at it and I'm like, I made that.
It's my baby. I birthed this podcast.
So yeah, a day early. So we talked about it last time. Got an epic trip ahead of us.
It's getting more epic by the minute.
Holy shit, man. This is like old school plane, trains, and automobiles at this point. Like you would think it's pretty simple, right? We book a flight from Pittsburgh to St. Louis, hit the ground. We're within an hour and 40 minutes of our lease, drive a little bit, stay over, and then everything goes to shit. And the makers of your most popular rental cars don't have rental cars anymore.
Yeah, I don't get how it's working. I mean, it sounds like it really is the manufacturers that's cutting these guys short on inventory.
It's crazy. And you want to talk about like inflation. For an economy car, it's gonna cost $200 a day. Who does that?
Did we tell you the plan yet, Ian? We couldn't get a car. Yeah. We couldn't get a rental car in St. Louis.
Or Kansas City.
So we were thinking, well, maybe we just cut Illinois out of the trip, fly straight to Kansas City, rent a truck there, and fly out of there.
No bueno.
Yeah, no cars there, no cars in St. Louis. We did find cars here in Pittsburgh, so we're gonna rent a car,
drive to Illinois. Yeah, and
then basically we're back to business as usual at that point. But
yeah, it's crazy. So typically those rental cars are $65, $70 a day, $200. Supply and demand, common economics.
Supply and demand. Yeah, that is expensive.
And I talked to the lady at Enterprise, and I was like, "Well, ma'am, like, am I missing something?
So
like,
who do we end up getting that through?
Hertz.
And there's no like separate drop off destination.
It's built into that, which is a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to a lady at Enterprise, and I was
hate
like,
that word. Built-in just means it doesn't exist.
I was like, what's going on in like St. Louis? I was like, all the cars are gone. She's like, ooh, like it's spring break. And I'm like, who the hell goes to St. Louis for spring break? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. All the rental cars are booked up.
I was like, spring break?
We get a pretty heavy spring vacation.
They like to come and see the arch, and that's about it, I'm like, wait, no, seriously, like, what do you do? She's like, I don't know. She's like, COVID restrictions? ?
You tell me, bud.
I was like, okay, cool.
That's where you come in.
I was like, how about these other ones? She's like, oh, you know what? We own National and Alamo too. I was like, cool. How about that? And she's like, oh, yep, none. Oh, okay.
Well, speaking of which, I do have a car booked through Alamo.
You should probably cancel that.
I didn't put any money down or anything.
Did you put a credit card down?
No. Which leads me to believe that it's probably not there.
Correct.
I'm thinking
I had to put a credit card down on Hertz.
Still might not be there. But
Angel insured me that the car would be there.
It assured you.
Yes.
She assured you.
She may have insured me as well. Actually,
you get the insurance?
Oh yeah,
you remember,
for sure, dude.
You remember when we were kids? This is that guy was like, "Do you travel with protection?" I said, "Hey, I never travel without it, bud."
She asked me. She said something that she was like, "Do you want the Hertz insurance?" And I was like, "Well, what does that cover?" She's like, "Oh, pretty much anything."
Like cut to.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "How much is it?" I was like, "You know what? Just got it added on."
You know what? Well, yeah,
we'll just take it. We'll take it. Yeah.
Colton's gonna be spilling ketchup in front of his kids' meal in the bag.
Well, and then and I have no idea. I think we got a small SUV, possibly. So we'll see. We should be fine.
Yeah, it's just a longer drive, but
yeah, it is.
That'll be all right.
And the weather looks kind of shitty for tomorrow, but
yeah. Oh, I got a full like frog dog suit. It's the same one I brought for North Dakota. I never have taken it out of the packaging.
Yeah, there you go.
But it seems pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
I paid like $40 for it, so should be good.
We find one big shed in Illinois, and it's well worth it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have Colton holding my pants like out the window to dry them on the way to Kansas.
Oh, good call, dude. We need to bring boot dryers.
Yes,
100%. We have some here from Cetus, right?
Cetus boot dryers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're down in the media room.
Don't let us forget those boot dryers.
Mm-hmm.
Critical.
Clutch.
Critical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Even if we just go out and get familiar with the area, I think it'd be worth the trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the next time we go out, it's going to be potentially in July to plant a food plot if we end up getting to do that. We still don't have permission to get on this property. The lease doesn't technically start until
just one of them. The other one we do.
Yeah,
we're on the other one.
When's the lease start? May.
The new one, April 1.
Oh, dude, we're so close.
Like 4 days away.
Yeah, we're so close.
That's
close enough that we could. Oh, it is the 26th.
There's not only 25 days in March.
26 minus. It is May, March, or minus 3. Plus.
Add in the COVID.
Carry the one,
stimulus.
And we should be good.
Yeah, I think it's April 1, right?
Mm-hmm. I did get stimulated this morning. I was getting tired of hearing everybody else talking about it, and I was like, oh. And I saw it come through, and I assumed it was going to be our payroll because I ran payroll yesterday, and get a nice little stimmy in there.
I wish they would send
a little more long-term liability to the government is what you call that.
Well, yeah, I wish that Joe and Kamala would send like a personal like MMS message with that and like, hey, Jared, congratulations, you've just been stimulated.
I sent an email. I guess that was my bank that sent it.
Yeah. No contact.
Yeah. I preferred the check. I like the
the Don check.
Yeah, I got a check from the Donald and I saved it just for. I thought it was cool.
Framed it.
Did you guys got those checks and stuff? I assume. You never got stimulated?
Oof.
You got stimulated?
We're talking about money.
You're stimulated more directly though. Yours was direct.
Direct stimulation.
My first one was a check. Well, this is the third one now, right?
Yeah. You guys need to start having kids too. You get so much more stimulus when you have kids.
Yeah, I think it's like you've got more. Yeah, no, it's not gonna be worth it.
I mean, possibly you.
Maybe someday.
Maybe
we've talked about it.
Yeah, I mean they're getting a tax credit for them, getting some stimulus for them now. They're starting to earn their keep.
Financially, it's not a winning battle unless your kid makes a bunch of money, but that's a long term.
Well, that's why I'm in the long-term game. Like, at some point when I'm, like, peeing on myself at 90 years old.
Carter's
like,
a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should make some money someday.
I assume he'll just not throw me in a home. Probably will. I don't know.
I would.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Do you know what's funny, dude?
I'll make a deal with Harlan. I'll just be like, listen, dude, when it's time, just walk me out in the woods and just, like, set me there. And then walk away. He'll do that.
Yeah, he'd be the one.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'll be like, you ready to go to the woods? Like, what? No, dude.
Yeah, your time's down here.
No.
I'll take it.
I said
over.
Like later in life.
I'll take it over.
Yeah. He's like, oh.
Yeah, you said that yesterday.
Now?
It's now today, so later. Yeah.
Get back to your chickens.
I think, financially having kids is probably a losing battle, but that's not why you do it.
Well, and who knows? I mean, colleges might not even exist when my kids go to college.
How do they go to colleges if they don't exist?
They might not. That's what I'm saying. There may not be college. Maybe it's all online education.
Who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know what will happen with the public school system in general.
Maybe they'll be running the podcast in 20 years.
Your boys?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
First episode, they'll be like, listen, we're stopping this. Like, we're going to put it out. It's Missouri.
How old is Carter?
9.
Yeah, man, we could get him in here before too long. What if he kills a buck? He did kill a buck this past year.
Yeah.
Whenever he feels comfortable, whenever you feel comfortable, we get him in here and we have him talk about it.
Well, I'm more of a, let's just put the pressure on him. Like, toss him in the lake and watch him swim.
Metaphorically.
Yeah, metaphorically.
Okay. The podcast being the
lake.
I see what you did there.
Yes.
That was like my analysis this morning. I said the podcastually.
Yes.
Podcastually speaking.
Yes. You just bring him in and sit him down and be like, all right, cool, man. We're live.
Yeah. You think he would freak out?
I just don't know if he'll say anything.
Do you think he would understand like what we're doing here?
No. He'd probably think we're dumb.
Well.
It's because he's sitting here like running algorithms in his head or
straight
something.
Rain Man.
Yeah. Harlan will get it. He'd be all about it. He'd be like, yeah, let me tell you when I kill chickens. Like, no, that's not the...
Shut up. You don't say that here. You don't say that here.
That's not the point of the podcast.
We keep that at the house.
Yeah. You make it sound like we do that frequently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good. I mean, that's one thing that we've talked about is people are probably tired of us just rambling, so at some point they want other guests besides Weston on.
Yeah. I think we can make that happen.
We've got some good ones. We were talking this morning. We got some new dead ringer sites in, so we can get Lucas and those guys on and talk about some of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm excited about this trip and that this is kind of the big first kickoff of content for 2021 from a non-podcast side for Hunter. You know, and it's something I think we've talked about in prior podcasts. We haven't been to Kansas shed hunting in 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I talk about it as if like it's our thing. It's
like
pretty
it's
much
a
what
ritual, but we don't do it that often.
I've been twice.
Yeah? Once before you started hunting Kansas, right?
Yeah. I think it was the first year that I went.
I mean, is there a year that we always find sheds, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yeah, we always find sheds.
That's exciting.
Even if it's from the year before. Yeah, that we'll find sheds. And I'm kind of anxious to get your opinion on that spot. Like
Dance.
Down where I'm at. And because I've considered bouncing around, and it's bizarre because it's just not a tight funnel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is a spot that I've seen a lot of.
It's nice, I think, because it's visually open. You can see a long ways and see a lot of deer.
Yeah,
but in a bow situation, it's not always the best.
Well, and they do cross like right underneath. Like it is a crossing.
I've seen it from that camera being there. I mean, there's plenty of times in daylight hours that those shooter bucks are coming through there.
Yeah.
So that'll be a really exciting thing. I think this year is the frustration of cell cams of old has just gotten, frankly, old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're gonna punt those things in the Flint River, not literally.
No?
Well, I don't want to litter.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just do what Colton said, which is just office space the shit out of them.
Yeah.
But we're going to bring the stealths and the HME solar panels, which if we set those up correctly, we aren't going to touch them. And when we go to hunt in November, those babies are still cranking pictures out.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be exciting. We've never had cameras really running there in the summertime.
Well, and dude, those cameras they operate even if you're not using the cell service. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the issues that I had with even those Moultrie cameras that did work well, the 7000 series or whatever. Is like you have to have the cell plan for the camera to even work.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it works as a regular camera. Which.
Interesting.
I understand why they did that, but
yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't plan on shutting them off though.
Yeah.
Might let him eat.
Yeah, let him run. Well, dude, I haven't really filled you in on the lease. So I went up and rode around the Ohio lease the other day for a while.
You were really antsy.
To get out?
There were several discussions internally from the Stone Road team. I'm like, hey, yeah, Jared just said, like, he's good. And Brianna's like, yeah, I think he, like, told me that, like, an hour ago.
She said what?
That you were like, oh, yeah, like, I'm in, like, a good place. I just need to, like, get outside.
I was. Yeah, I was just like, I was like, it's not, I can't leave just yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I better.
Well,
it was just like,
it was like 8:30.
It was kind of like when I was getting ready to get married, and I was like waiting to ask Chuck's permission. I was like, man, I know this is gonna happen here, but I need to just, so he doesn't think I'm crazy, I need to just wait a little while longer.
So did you wait later in the day?
To ask you, yeah.
In the day.
Yeah.
Oh no, I meant to ask Chuck.
I did.
Later in the day.
No, later in the year.
That's an odd analogy because it was just like mere hours in our discussion.
Very similar principles though.
I mean,
yeah.
At the end goal.
Yeah. Well, here's what could have happened. I could have at like 10:30 been like, "Hey, dude, I'm out. I'm good to go," but that wouldn't have looked good. So I was like, I better just buckle down and do a little bit more work here, at least until like 2, and then.
Similar analogy in that if you didn't get there, somebody else picks up the shed. If you didn't ask Margie to marry you, somebody else picks up Margie.
No, I don't think there's any fear of that. I was just
we're drifting pretty far from the analogy.
Crazy, but anyways. So I went out to the lease, and I didn't tell you either.
You like that place, don't you?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's big, man.
You were like, this is how I ever wanted my property to be.
Yeah, it was sick. I started at the right spot too. It's
Did you ride the Range Rover?
Yeah.
Belt's fixed.
Belt's fixed. That's all it was. Threw a belt. So got a new belt on there. And so I started over at the top. It was beans last year. And I assume they just rotate that every year or every other year. So
think it'll be corn up there?
I think so. I think that's actually an easy spot to overlook is as soon as you drive around there, there's a solid chunk of timber that comes up and meets at the bottom there.
Just points up out.
That'd be a good spot, at least for a camera, to see what's there. But let's see where to start. Yeah, I drove in there. The road system on that place is ridiculous. I mean, there's roads everywhere.
Yeah, that's nice.
And they've been maintained. It's like every single logging road that's ever been on there, and it seems like there's even more than you would need for logging roads.
Right.
But he's kept them all maintained. And so if there's one downfall to that property is like he's on there. You know, he uses it, but it's big.
And I'm sure those deer are used to it by now.
I don't think it bothers him too much.
Especially with the terrain.
I mean, he went in, he's been in since I was in there last time, and he's got gravel on the road. The main road anyways, the one that goes back to the cabin. And I actually, so I spent a bunch of time on that property. I spent probably 2 or 3 hours. What I did was I drove clear over to where I had the stand and the camera from where I was hunting at 8.
What do those plots look like?
In the late season?
Hammered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's just small clover and old brassicas and stuff. I can see he's got some lime bags out there. Like he's been doing something he's been liming and stuff. I really want to get over there before too long and talk to him about what we want to do.
Plant this.
I think he's going to plan on planting anyways if we don't tell him, but
it's fine.
Might be nice to intercept
we'll just come in and deer grow it.
Intercept him with something. What we want to plant. But so I stopped there. I got the camera first. I pulled that lone wolf. And then I popped down over the hill, and I wanted to go down because it seemed like that's where a lot of those.
Did you check that camera?
It was one of those Moultries. So
nothing?
So when the cell died, it wasn't taking pictures after that.
Did we shut off the cell, or did the camera die?
I think I shut them off.
Okay.
I think I shut them off. But anyways, I dropped down over that hill, and I started walking down towards the ponds because that's where I thought those bucks were coming from. And it's nasty down in there, and that's classic like ravine. And what it seems like is a bunch of those big mature bucks out there are using that lowland country more than they do the ridges and stuff, or even the big oak flats and stuff. And so, I mean, there's clearly a bunch of stuff getting used down there, and I found some good spots. But and so to access that, you can come off right where they have that. It's like a watershed or something down there. Do you know where that's at?
Yes.
Can you picture that? So,
yeah, southwest corner.
Yeah, so you would actually access that. So you just drive right past the farm, down past the bead knoll sign is right there. You can park right there, and then you can just right up the gut. You can get up in there. And it's cool because there's a bunch of, I don't know if it's like from water coming down from the lake or overflow from the watershed. I don't think that makes as much sense, but there's big like retaining ponds back there. It's real crazy. It's I don't know if I took a picture, but there's giant drop offs like from where you stand.
It's like benches basically.
Yeah, it's like just kind of a cliff, and it falls off real steep down into these big retaining ponds.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Think that'll hold water in the summertime?
100%. I mean, it's holding a lot of water now. Here, this isn't like,
barring we don't have EHD.
I don't know if I can get this up on the big screen, but at least you can check that out and see.
Oh yeah, yeah. It looks like old strip mine almost.
Yeah. See it down in there.
That's cool.
So I was half expecting I'd find a deer laying in it.
Yeah.
You know, just
down and around.
EHD or just deer running downhill to die.
You found that community's great.
Yeah. And so the way that property lays is I'm figuring out as I spend a little more time on it. There's essentially 4 ravines and 3 major ridges. So
yep.
ravine, ridge.
Yeah, this looks like a
ravine,
turkey
ridge.
foot. The way those ridges run.
Yeah. And that includes the neighboring lease that you just picked up. That's the tip of one of those 3
Just
major ridges. Yeah. So you've got basically the 3 ridges would be the one where the big gas line food plot's at, the one that the cabin is on.
Yep.
Continues
Main
to
one.
extend out, and then the one out to her property.
Yep.
Which there's more on it. I guess I remember seeing that when I was out with him, but I kind of had forgotten. Do you know that secluded plot you're talking about wanting to do there? In the woods, like in the main chunk of the woods on that new part that you picked up is another like cabin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Which is kind of weird. I came up over the hill and I was like, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be there or like if there was somebody in there.
Huh.
But there wasn't. It's just, it's a hunting cabin. It's kind of crazy. Like when you see it, it's decked out and I'm really glad that you picked that up because if somebody else tried to lease that cabin can hold 10 or 12 guys. And you can only hunt.
That's crazy.
You can only hunt like one guy on that lease.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my plan there is to put either a hawk or muddy box blind over that food plot and just let Em and the kids hunt that spot.
I think that should be the plan. Just let's do a big food plot in that bottom and do a box blind. If you're gonna do any tree stands, you can do one in there, clear back towards the back, and it butts up to like some pine trees and stuff. But anyways, I walked a good portion of that property, and I drove even more than that. I mean, you saw the Onyx maps. I did quite a bit, and no sheds, but I did find quite a bit of rubs, and I just think that it's not they're not wintering there on that property.
Yeah, that's kind of who cares?
Yeah,
not a big deal at that point.
Well, it's just, dude, it's not a good property to shed hunt. I mean, you can drive it, but I have a feeling he's driven some of those roads already. Maybe not 4 sheds, but if there was an obvious one, he would have picked it up. I'd imagine.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a really good property to start to think about food plots because there's so many areas on there of and I was talking about this with Jeff Sturgis the other day. Do you plant those in different things? Do you plant them all in the same so that you're not necessarily congregating all those deer or all that attraction into one plot and the other ones are essentially unattractive?
I don't know. My feelings about that property is that like it doesn't matter what you plant in there, you're not going to hold deer year round. I don't think there's bigger, better ag sources in the area that they'll kind of move off into. My opinion would be let's plant whatever's as attractive as possible, and that will hold them into November and December as long as possible. But then after that,
that's all we care about.
Yeah, when January, February rolls around, those deer
they're going to standing crops.
So I'd love to see some. I would just do straight brassicas on that big plot you want to put in, and then I would do, I guess, a combination of like clover, oats, and brassica.
Something early, something late.
Some of those other ones. There's some very good spots.
Well, I mean, and there's a lot of oaks and acorns that are going to be on there too, and some of those draws. It's just getting in there, and really, I think that's where Not that I don't think you can kill a deer on those plots, but I think at some point that's a classic property of you could be very conservative and never kill a deer on it. At some point, you're going to have to push into a saddle or push into in between a bedding area and a plot to get on those deer.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to do it smart.
Yeah, I mean, it sets up. It's very different from my property in that, like, typically the two are segmented. So it's like, all right, they're likely bedding on like this eastern facing hillside. I've done TSI here, and here's the trails coming out of it. Food plots over here. On this one, it's just like there's food plots everywhere. Like there's like what six or eight of them. You know, on a 300-acre tract that's otherwise timber. And so it doesn't seem like you can really set up to hunt these food plots
right
in the same way, but some of them are set up in pretty cool spots. One of them especially. So we talk about being a turkey foot. You got the two big ridges, and then the third one, the ravines that lead up to it. Do you remember the? I had that camera in two spots. The one was, they call it Jackson food plot, and it's not too far inside from that big bean field. That's essentially at the head of the turkey foot.
Gotcha.
And if you go up just a level, these two food plots are literally 150 yards from one another. This upper one is like, that's the knob. And so if you take like the old strategy of like rut high, feed low type of thing,
that's classic.
It's a knob for sure. It's a nice food plot. It continues out from there.
Saw a lot of activity in that Jackson plot too in the late season.
Yeah,
because we didn't get into that property until December, January.
Yeah, like late December.
Probably.
Well, it had to have been before the end of the year because that was the point. But
yeah,
but
it's December.
Yep, we
should be at least one good buck on there.
Yeah, there will be. I'm 100% sure. Already, you've got to look forward to. You had that 3-year-old that was busted off. I think
that'll be a toad.
Yeah, that'll be a nice deer. There was another nice
that tall one
3-year-old in there.
That 9-point or whatever.
A couple 2-year-olds. I'm sure there will be some other mature bucks that show
mature
up.
8.
Yeah, it's a big property, man.
Yeah, I would assume there's some good deer that'll show up there in July, August, September.
To be honest, I can't. Other than if it had like some more ag, I guess, or more dense, like thermal cover would be some things that maybe it's lacking. But from an access perspective, from an attractive food plot perspective, and just terrain, I mean, it's
baller.
It's about as good as.
Well, I mean, that's the hard part. Is like I remember when we leased it, like it came up and I'm like, holy shit, that's like a big block of timber. And like knowing that area and being in your farm, like there aren't many like that. So it was just like, yeah, that should be the one, right? And just instinctively, based on the composition of kind of what that landscape looks like and knowing what's around it, you know, at some point that property's holding deer, you know, or at least they're spending a significant amount of time on that property.
Yeah. It just seems like one that, you know, like on my place, it just seems like they're so spread out. And so like even when we're calling and stuff, it's like, man, who knows if anything can hear me.
I think that's everywhere though, man. I mean, at the end of the day, these deer just move.
Yeah, they do. But this property, for whatever reason, feels like, dude, if you just got up onto like that center turkey foot plot or whatever is there, or one of these ridges, like, man,
crack those horns.
If you crack those horns, they're gonna hear you from forever. And there's a lot of habitat in there. I think for that reason, there will be more deer. Per capita, per whatever.
Well, I mean, we'll look at the number of deer that were piling into those plots and those that corn when we put in the. I mean, it was on the doe side too many.
Yeah, so I bumped a few deer throughout the property. I bumped a big group of them once I got back out to that bean field. Do you know there's that little island of woods? Yeah, I bumped like 8 or 9 does out of there.
You also shit yourself jumping a bobcat, right?
It didn't really scare me that much. It just tore out of there.
It's probably a kitty cat.
It was a big cat. Wow. Yeah. Did I tell you about this? I was just walking down where this, dude, you got to see
that bottom.
You got to see his bottom. Yeah, it's disgusting. But it's just desolate and thick and like, just like I've never seen anything like
bucky.
it. It's bucky for sure. And yeah, I just walked up on a brush pile and this thing like tore off out of there. And I assumed it was a coyote immediately. And then I saw it and I saw a little short tail. I was like, bobcat. It was like 10 yards in front of me. We have them out there.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a few of them.
Yeah. I don't know if we've got any on camera out there or not. You see a lot of rubs?
Yeah, nothing like ridiculous, but yeah, I mean,
Plenty.
a reasonable amount of rubs.
Scrapes.
Especially down in that bottom. Yeah, the most scrape action that I was seeing was up near that Jackson food plot. I think it's obvious that these deer are bedding out on.
Yeah.
So there's the 3 primary ridges, and then there's kind of like knobs
off of them.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, just like on typically it's the eastern side where the prevailing wind is coming over. Yeah, you can see where so I walked most of those knobs out. I would get on the eastern side of the big
there's sheds on there and just didn't find them.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, it's vast. When you get out there and you see how much like timber work this guy's doing, it's
you think that new piece, the 40 acres next door, where those deer are coming up out of there? Because that's where he was seeing that Big 10 that he was saying was coming up out of that ditch.
What's your question?
Does it look good?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it held a buck on it. It's not the woods itself, just because that cabin is in there, makes it very small.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't even know that was in there.
I mean, I forgot about it too. Yeah, when you look at it on a map, it's like, oh, there's nothing back there. But yeah, there's a road back there, and there's a cabin back in there. I do think those deer will walk right past it.
Yeah, don't give a shit.
So, especially in the late season. And so, like, if the main property is here, this other property is here, there's another ravine in here. This is the ravine that runs all the way up to Bob's house. That's thick enough to hold some deer even in the...
Yeah, they'll be in there. That'll be the interesting thing. I thought about, depending on how big I can make it, trying to throw beans in there and then disc them under and then put brassicas in.
Yeah, you absolutely could. Or don't. Just do a bean field.
Or don't. Colton, don't do it.
Just do a bean field.
Yeah. Grow the pods. Keep them up.
It's not hard.
Kill deer.
It's not hard. Yeah, the toughest part is getting through the ground for the first time. Just go out there, torch it. 2-3 ounces of glypho per acre.
Per whatever the hell acre. I think.
Per acre. Per acre. Wait, you guys put water in your glyphosate?
This shit doesn't go really far. They're like, that should have treated like 100 acres.
Yeah.
It's like moles coming up and just... Yeah, that may have been a little heavy. Nothing ever grew there again.
Yeah. So.
Well, that'll be good, man. I'm excited about that. That's one I still need to... Well, we talked about maybe going out and turkey hunting, and...
I heard quite a few turkeys out there.
I like that.
Quite a bit of scratching and stuff, too.
Shoot one in the face. So, yeah, we got Illinois coming up. Those places will be pretty cool to explore. Interested to see what this national forest, Shawnee National Forest, looks like.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, should be cool. I haven't checked the weather since yesterday.
It's wet.
What?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Wet sheds glistening in the rain.
Well, yeah, I mean, from a seeing them perspective, I don't hate it.
Yeah, but sunshine sucks.
Oh, dude, we're going to be fine.
What do you think? Are you still, last time you fucked up and did like Peoria?
Pulaski.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're 93% chance of 0.8 inches is what I say right now.
It's a pretty good chance.
Oh, it's going to rain for sure. But it's a big spike in the morning, so like first thing, and then another spike like late afternoon.
Right through the gut.
Yeah, so I think
through the gut.
Yeah, midday we should be okay.
Picking up sheds, eating sandwiches.
Yeah, dude. See, it drops down. 8 a.m.'s 93%, 9 a.m.'s 87, then at 10 it drops to 50%, 11 it drops to 40, 40, 50, and then we've got another shower at towards the end of the day.
Hit them right in the gut.
Yeah, so we'll get out there. We'll just do everything we got to do from 10 to 2, 10 to 3, 10 to 4, whenever
and
it
head
starts.
West.
Yeah, and then if it starts raining too hard, we'll get out. We'll get some.
We'll drive as much as we can. I mean, closer we get to Eureka, the better on Thursday.
Yeah. It'd be fun, man. I'm stoked. Real excited. So I was like, I just wasn't willing to accept that we weren't going to go last night. What did I say last night?
I don't think people understand. Like, this was a big thing. So like,
you were like, dude, that's not. I don't think it's gonna work out. I was like, that's fine. I'll just kill myself.
I was like sitting on the couch and I'm like, Emily's like, what's wrong? I was like, gotta book a car. She's like, and she's a planner. She's like, what do you mean? You didn't book one already? I'm like, no, like I already got the flights. I booked a hotel. I was like, I just got booked wrong.
And you've never had an issue before, right?
No.
There's
like,
always cars.
I go
somewhere.
in and they're like, yeah, can't find it. I was like, what? So, and I thought it was because I said, I'm going to pick it up in St. Louis. I'm going to drop it off in Kansas
When you
City.
called me, I was like, I'm not going to say I don't believe you, but like, are you sure?
Like there are no cars. Yeah. There are no cars. And I never have to call these places, right? I don't like talking to people like that. I just don't like talking to them on the phone.
Okay.
Because I feel like they're worthless. I'm like, this is your only job.
Wow.
You can't help me.
These are people we're talking about.
And their job. Can't do the job.
Sure.
So the lady was nice. But she's like, yeah, there's no cars. I'm like, what's going on? That's when I got the spring break excuse. We aren't in Miami here, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to St. Louis. What's the other option? COVID-19 restrictions? Question mark? Maybe.
What kind of restrictions would lead
lifting of the restrictions?
Oh, maybe.
And I heard, you know,
very
there's more people flying. Like Monday, there was like 1.5 million people flew, which was the greatest number that they've had since COVID.
Greatest numbers we've seen in a long time.
Huge
numbers.
Huge.
Ratings are off the charts. Dude, anywhere that was restricted during the lockdowns, if you go out to now, especially restaurants and stuff, these places are hopping.
Yeah. So I mean, I get that, but then you got the true answer, I believe, which is manufacturers just aren't supplying cars. Which I don't even know how this works. Like apparently like they're getting cars, they're leasing them, they're using them, they're selling them. Like I don't understand how's a rental car, like why are we dependent on the manufacturers here? It's like, dude, people are selling cars all the time. Like buy their cars and put it in the rental platform.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where rental services source their vehicles from.
You realize that like anytime you buy or you get a rental car, they're all low mileage. Like there's no used cars. Like they're all 10,000 miles and less.
Mm-hmm.
Strange.
Could ask.
Strange.
I am curious. We should find out if we get those from the manufacturer directly or if they have to, right?
But the prices were off the chart. For the closest one, so I just did like, open radius to St. Louis. What's the closest car? Chicago. What?
I thought I was getting crafty. I was like, I'm gonna run a U-Haul, like one of the trucks, And I was like, I'm gonna outsmart this thing. And I called them. They don't. Apparently,
no one ways.
Yeah, you can't drop off a truck at a different location than you pick it up. It's the 10 foot and bigger. I was like,
It is. I was gonna say, wait a minute, I did that. Oh, that's because it was a big one, like a 28 foot.
Yeah,
or
the
something.
U-Hauls in general, you can.
Yeah, just.
But
I thought I was getting crafty last year when I bought my boat in Nebraska. I was like, oh, watch this shit. Like I'm gonna fly to Kansas City. I'm gonna pick up a U-Haul truck. I'm gonna drive that thing only 2 hours, and then I'll drive the boat back. Like I got this.
That would have been the real adventure. We just put your boat in the Allegheny or the Mon and just
go, man.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
start barging west.
Yeah, U-Haul's like, oh yeah, you can't like tow anything with these. I was like, what? Freaking U-Haul, man. What do you mean I can't tow shit with this thing? No, you can't tow stuff with us. Stupid. I didn't tow stuff.
You did you?
No, I drove. Like 18 hours.
I would have tied it, I think.
Yeah. So we could have just put the boat in the Ohio and just let her rip.
Barged west.
Ooh, that'd been dicey. That water's high. There are flood warnings in the Pulaski area.
I saw that.
Could be a little swampy.
Yeah, would love to find a
boot dryer.
Have you done any walk-in or hunting in Illinois at all ever?
No.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I've been to Illinois.
It's a bucky state, man. I mean, it's just like it feels a lot different than Kansas, but in the way that you feel like there could be a big buck in it.
I used to do a lot of stuff with the whitetail property guys, and so I've been up to Peoria and been in that area a lot. I mean, I only lived 2.5 hours from there at one point when I was in Missouri. Yeah,
I imagine Missouri was probably similar terrain.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing. Like it's kind of crazy because if you go along the Mississippi River or the Ohio River in Illinois, like there is some terrain once you get out of the river plain, but like then once you get to the center of the state, I mean it's just flat and ag. We're in that terrain-based area, which personally I like hunting better than just a big flat spot in the middle of ag. You don't like that. That's what you're hunting. Sorry.
where we're at in Illinois.
Well, I guess we have one in each. The first lease is in the ag.
It's not that I
plane.
don't like hunting terrain. I do. I think that deer are easier to kill on flat ground. Just as a general statement, much easier. I think that the wind and thermals cooperate.
Oh, it's a pain in the ass.
A lot
terrain.
more. I think it's easier to.
Be interesting to see that
to predict
because that first part that's close to the swampy canal is flat. Swampy. That's flat. That's ag. That's classic river bottom, Illinois. Whereas the other one is more in like the foothills of the Shawnee National Forest, which is more terrain based.
How far apart from one another are they?
50 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. Two different counties, Union and Pulaski.
Where are we staying tonight?
Mount Vernon, Illinois.
How far is that from Lease?
Hour. It'll split them. 57 splits the two leases, essentially.
Cool.
That's where Weston will come in and meet us at where we're staying.
Well,
He should.
I'm extremely confident that there's a big buck in the area. If it makes you...
In Illinois?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We wouldn't be going if I didn't think so.
I hope the property's as good as they look.
Colton, no offense. At one point, I was just like, well, what if I just fly and Colton just picks me up at St. Louis Airport?
That was my idea. I was like, I wasn't serious. I wasn't serious, but if he was like, I was like, maybe. I was like, why don't we just we'll take Jeremy's truck, we'll just drive to Illinois, and then we'll drive to Kansas, and then Colton can drop us off at the airport and drive back from Kansas.
It won't be as bad. I mean, given like today,
we're like, no, we can't do that to him, right? We can't.
I mean, yeah, we can. I mean, so today will be 8.5 hours. That's not too bad. Tomorrow will be a long day. Then we'll get on the road. We'll stay overnight. And so we were breaking up the drive. If we were driving, or if the option was, hey, we got to drive 17 hours to Kansas, hell no.
Yeah, I don't think
we wouldn't have made it. We would have died. Or if we had to drive 17 hours back, no, it wasn't. But we only have to drive 2 hours to Kansas City, drop off the rental, hitch a flight to the old Pittsburgh.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be an adventure.
We'll document it. Documentation.
For sure. It's a good looking shirt you got there. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, very
little
sharp.
Apparel. little We Are Hunter apparel. Little long sleeve, short sleeve action.
Heck yeah, man. Shout out to Deanna for
cranking it.
Doing that logo for us.
The benefits of having your own team in Stenred Media.
In-house graphic designers. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good. You know?
I'm really happy that the shirt is like a nice quality.
Yeah, it feels good.
I'm pretty sure that's the exact same shirts that my parents used
for the turkey trot.
That's why who I sought out. I was like, man, these are...
I can't believe they produced them that fast. When you texted me, I'm like, what am I doing?
It was like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 days.
Cost
Cost was fairly reasonable. I think it was like, what, 50? I guess we shouldn't say.
How much are you willing to pay?
Yeah.
How much are you willing to pay is the question.
Oh, no, we'll make them super affordable.
Yeah, no.
We're not looking to make money.
I mean, long sleeves will probably be 20, short sleeves 15, something like that.
I don't know. Haven't even
you tell me.
Haven't even got them out of the box yet. I haven't even picked mine out yet. So.
Oh yeah, they're out. Sorry, we're sold out.
Oh, we'll get you on the next run.
Yeah.
The next run.
The next one. We'll get it.
You come with me. You wait for the next group.
Yeah.
No. You wait for the next group.
You'll get it. No, they'll be good.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take some pictures, like me holding sheds. I'll be like, hey, look what I found in Kansas.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's a sharp looking shirt.
Found this in Kansas.
Found
these in Kansas.
So we'll add to the pile. How?
I don't know if anybody. I mean,
did we fly back with these? We drove back with these. We drove back with that one. I did fly back with some.
We got stopped in TSA. The guy was like, we're like, yeah, it's an antler. He's like, I don't know. Like, you could stab this guy in the throat if you wanted to.
Like, I might if you don't let me take this on the plane.
Just come on, push it through. Push her through. He's like scanning it with the wand. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I don't know what we'll do. We could put them in a mailbox, like a box, and UPS them.
We'll see what we find. If we find like pretty boy sheds, I'm gonna have a hard time parting ways with those.
Somebody should probably remind me to make sure I have no live ammunition in my bag this time. It's happened before.
Here's your reminder.
Okay.
Why don't you check before we leave?
Yeah.
I have to empty out my bag every time we go somewhere. Just make sure I got. I lost my knife on that property the other day.
Can't take a knife anyways.
Well, I know.
Okay, now
Well,
can't come back.
That's what made me think of it. But yeah, it fell out of my pocket somewhere. Super,
Unless you keister stash it on the way back.
Super annoying. Yeah, there's always the keister stash option.
Not with pretty boy sheds.
What a hilarious word. Keister stash.
You're not putting any sheds up there.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Sir, we're going to need you to spread your butt cheeks.
Yeah. He's been training for this one.
Don't you sneeze. Yeah, I mean, I know we'll find some sheds. I mean, we've piled up a lot of, well, actually, you know what? These we left at Marcus's, and we ended up bringing them back when we hunted in November.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what we'll do.
I did the same thing when we found white whales, is I didn't bring those back till we came back and hunted in November when we drove out.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably what we'll do. We'll just spend as much time with them as we can while we're there, and then, yeah, let them be.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they don't just get added to Marcus's pile.
We're going to find some down there.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 deer that I really
You want to start
find.
You want to start at French's?
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to hit the 80?
Weekend at Bernie's.
How do you want to hit the 80?
Co-op. I mean, we throw Colton to the wolves, and then we just go. Speed check.
Well, first or last, though, I mean. Because essentially I see us starting at like French's.
Last,
hitting
probably.
Hitting a pee-pee, jumping across the road.
Mm-hmm.
Spend some time in that section.
Mm-hmm.
Get an idea.
Yeah, we'll probably do that on the full day.
Walk it all the way down.
So we can do 80 on the partial day.
We're bringing snacks. I've been underprepared on these before. That's why I brought the KU pack. I'm talking trail mix. I'm talking Gatorade.
Straight snacking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll bring everything we need. Talking rain gear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe.
No, we don't need any rain gear there. It's going to be blowing at like 50, though.
Do you have any like tape for your heels and stuff? Did you bring anything like
Excuse me? Like moleskin?
Yeah.
No. I'm just worried about my ankle not breaking.
You have some? Colin's got some.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. We'll keep him.
I'm just worried about my ankle not breaking. That's all.
I'm worried about it breaking.
Well, no, at this point it'll just be full like ACL because like everything's so stabilized.
Cool.
Yeah, not cool if I tear my ACL, but
well, cool for now.
Yeah.
Dude, remember when we rolled that Ranger in Kentucky? Could be worse.
Yeah, we walked away from it.
Mm-hmm.
My foot hurt for a while though.
Same foot?
No, different foot.
You gotta be careful with your feet, man.
I know. The only thing I have to worry about is like, don't do the little like prance over the creek or something.
I found one over here.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna have like a ultimatum of like looking across like a creek table width, and there's like a shed on the other side. I'm like,
you remember when Steve? What did he do? He stepped out. It was like right before we found Wide Boy. No, this is Wide Boy. What's your other one called?
White Whale.
It was right before we found White Whale sheds. You remember he stepped on something and like really hurt his foot?
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know.
Just a stick.
I remember him like bitching about it for the rest of the trip.
Oh yeah, he stepped on a stick.
He stepped on a stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
Most of those aren't good.
Did you bring brush pants, by the way?
The only traumas I've had in Kansas shed hunting are, remember when I tried to cross the barbed wire and almost lost my balls? I
do.
At Roberts?
I do.
I think somebody was supposed to be holding it. And
your balls?
Here,
just cut me so I can get over this fence.
Hold these up. Colton, hold these up. And that top wire went right into the old quad.
Was it one of those like if your foot was holding down and then it sprung up and caught you?
I don't remember. It was
I remember you yelling about it. I was like over the hill.
I probably have tetanus from
a tetanus pecker.
Yeah.
That was right when Marcus threw the shed out in front of Steve and he's like, "There's one."
Yeah.
And Steve like hustled over to it.
I was like, "We got a bleeder."
He was mad. I can't believe that shed didn't break when he threw it.
I know. So yeah, that was one.
We gotta walk Roberts too, man.
Yeah, we also.
Oh, dude, we're gonna find that. I bet we'll find that 3-year-old down there.
Oh, that 10.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a toad.
Nice.
There's a big 5-year-old down there too.
Mm-hmm.
The other one we got caught in is we were walking through like a big honey locust grove, and I remember us like stepping on like thorns that were like this big.
Where was that?
It's on public, somewhere close to the ants, south of the ants. Yeah.
We're going to have to figure out how to get across that river. We may have to start on the other side of it to hit that piece.
Just drive. Wouldn't mind potentially shed hunting.
That makes sense because we'll walk it all the way out to the road.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind shed hunting that place that the Minnesotans hunted.
Are you talking across the road that side?
Mm-hmm. You know, where I hunted up in those cedars and stuff.
Oh.
Just hit that bowl real quick.
Okay.
I mean, the hard part is we are late in the season, so I don't know how many people are shed hunting some of these areas.
I would love to feel confident about an area to get Corey into, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Got Roberts.
I mean, in theory, we've got enough spots, but you never know.
Plenty.
You want to have at least.
Did you ever hear South 80?
Yeah.
Pretty easy. And if we have a muddy bell blind now down there.
That's right.
Be a game changer.
Could be. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think between, I mean, 80's always there.
Roberts.
Yeah, Roberts is there. French's is there. Flat's there.
We got lots
is there.
of spots.
We haven't really found any bang and public spots outside of the ants.
The other thing I got to figure out while we're down there as part of deer grow obligations is to see if that 1,000 acres is still for lease. You remember the one that we were going to lease? And Steven and Shannon want to lease it, if so.
Done.
That's what I said. So I got to connect with that guy maybe, or just have Marcus connect with him.
Can we?
Well, obviously,
yeah.
I think we would want to walk it for them.
Well, I think that lease is active probably till.
I don't know if they leased it or if
Till summer.
Brandon just had hunters and he leased it for the hunters.
I don't think it was Brandon. I thought it was a different group.
Irrelevant.
But yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sounded like they were seeing some good deer.
Well, we'll just ask, like, hey, are they going to renew? If he says no, then we'll be like, can we walk it and pick up all the sheds? And
Well, dude, even if they are, don't let them.
Let us.
Let us.
How much more? yeah, we'll cover it.
Well, I feel like we've got more skin in the game. Like we've been in the area for a long time. Like, listen, man, I know it didn't work out last year, but like we want it to for a long time. The deer grow thing's not going anywhere. So
yeah, and those guys they're golden. They'll treat it right.
Awesome. Why didn't we think of that last year?
I don't know. I don't know if they were looking necessarily last year, or maybe they were looking in Oklahoma. So now they're wanting something in Kansas.
Dude, Oklahoma is kind of an interesting state.
Oklahoma.
I see Levi goes down there and kills some bucks every once in a while.
Some big bucks in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Part of our Brant network as well.
Oklahoma is?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I have to look at that.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time.
No.
How do we make more of that?
No, we don't. You can't. You just have to sacrifice other stuff.
Mm.
That takes up time, but you also need money, so.
It's important as well.
It's a balance. You also want a happy wife.
It's also important.
Got kids, too, so.
They'll be all right.
Sounds like your kids are making money for you, though, at this point.
I know.
Getting stimulated left and right.
Well, once we start moving some merch, I'm going to have them, it's not child labor when they're your own kids.
What is your own kids?
Who the hell put this shipping label on here wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, that's also a problem. That's a problem with working with family. Are you going to fire your 6-year-old?
Hey, listen, it's been a good run.
Yeah. Listen, man, you've been a cool son, but.
Yeah, you still owe me rent.
It's not going to work out.
Yeah. Sorry.
You ever see Blades of Glory?
Yes.
He drops his kid on. That's great. That's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
Mm.
Chad Michaels.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we need to spend most of our time in that Honey Creek bottom from French to the Ants, because that's the corridor that these deer are really working.
Man, it really is, isn't it?
That's where we spend most of our time. We know that the pressure's not too bad in those areas.
I suppose we're not going to bother walking where we found these.
Time dependent.
That's a lot of walking.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean, that bottom, to do that correctly, don't know how we're gonna do that. I bet Marcus is working, so we're only gonna have like one vehicle.
Does he work?
Yes,
He's currently employed.
like occasionally. I don't know. We'll have to ask his dad.
Okay. Yeah, so it'd just be you and Colton and I guess.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from a point-to-point walk.
Yeah, it's a lot of ground to cover. You can almost hit one side of the river and then come back up it.
That's why, yeah, so that's why I'm trying to figure out, like, how do we do that appropriately to make sure that we end up back at where we park the truck.
Figure it out.
Colin will wait here.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, it'll be fine. But yeah, we got a lot of ground. Especially with 3 people.
Roberts will be pretty quick. We can cover that in
Kev will come out in
2 hours or so.
Probably not. He'll be roofing.
He's roofing. I would assume he's roofing.
Especially with the nice weather.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would love to get out there and
we'll stop over.
Go noodling with those guys.
We'll stop over to the Kev shop.
He convinced me while I was out there.
The noodlings?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be fun. You ever seen it? Noodling?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if freaking Brandon can do it, I can do it, right? What's he, 12?
No, he's like 9.
9? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. If Brandon can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Kev just pulls him up by his pants, like once he gets onto him, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
He just like, he holds Brandon's head underwater as bait and then just pulls him out.
He's like, bubbles, no bubbles, pull out.
Yeah, no bubbles. When there's no bubbles, you pull him up.
Don't you hesitate there. Yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, man, I really wish that junk camera didn't die on us, because at least we know there have been people in there in February, but there was plenty of deer still holding.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how many people have walked in there in March. That's the key on the ant side.
Well, we've got that other camera up there.
That's true. And that wasn't an all-in-one. That was a separate unit, wasn't it?
It was
the
a
one at the
separate
ants?
unit. Yeah, the modem is still on a tree as far as I know.
Except the modem's dead. The camera might still be taking
pictures. The modem
pictures.
never worked. I just set it up as
No. I'm talking about the other one. The one down in your spot.
Oh.
Or is that an all-in-one unit?
I feel like it was an all-in-one. It should say. Probably check.
Hate that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think, no, you know what? It was an all-in-one. I'm 87% sure.
Hate that. Well, yeah, that camera up above. I don't remember. What about the flat?
You were the last one down there. You went down to the flat. Yeah.
Yeah, I was last one.
Not blaming you. Yeah. You were down there whenever, because when I was having camera issues.
Man, I'd love
What
for
did you
that
do with
camera
it?
to be working. What's that?
What did you do with it at that time? That's when I called you, and I said, hey, I'm having issues with my camera. You're like, yeah, me too. I can't get it to connect. What did you do? Did you leave it run as a regular, or?
I think so.
That's what I did.
Thanks, Alexa.
Thank you, Alexa. Yeah, that's enough.
Never knows when to shut up.
Huh. That's weird, man. She's always listening. Huh?
Alexa, stop.
You triggered, bro?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but we also have one in Roberts, too, in that ditch.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so let's transition this conversation. How many fusions and solar panels do we want to set up? Do we want to put one in Illinois?
How many you got?
A bunch.
I don't know, man. I'd like to get one on a mineral down at the ants.
Okay.
I think that'd be ideal.
Okay.
I don't care about anything else. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it would be nice to get one in Illinois. I just don't know anything about that property yet. Let's bring cameras. Let's plan to take.
Yeah, I mean, because if we
5 or 6 with us,
I'll probably just keep them at Marcus's if we don't use them, and then we'll put them out when we come back down.
Okay.
So we'll bring like 4 or 5 cameras.
Okay.
And solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Have one on every Illinois Booners.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, dude, if they're gonna stay running on these solar panels, let's get them out on mineral, and they'll run until we go back.
That's what I'm talking about.
If that's the case, yeah, let's plan to
I want to see baseball bats in May.
Yeah, let's plan to get one in on French's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know where we'll put that yet. Maybe down on the bottom somewhere.
Scrote.
Mm-hmm. Put one on Roberts, maybe.
Yep.
Ants.
2, 3.
2 on Illinois. 1 on each lease.
4 or 5. Let's bring 6 cameras.
Okay.
And let's pick up some mineral on the drive somewhere.
Mm-hmm. The other thing we got to deal with down there, and we haven't maximized them, so I don't know if we eventually move them or what we do is we've got a bunch of boss bucks down there, right? 2, 3? Question mark?
In Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
Where? Oh, yeah.
PP?
That stands for Pine Patch, by the way.
Apparently.
Yeah. The scrote, which is below it, stands for scrote.
Dude, my dad was so confused. That's it. We were talking when we did our first, was it Kansas was the first or second episode, I think was Kansas. And he was like, guys kept talking about this damn pine patch. I don't even know where the hell that is. I was like, that's the PP. He's like,
yeah.
Pine patch?
Oh, your dad kills it. He's like, I'm going to get on that PP and I'm just going to ride it out the whole week.
Yeah, you do that.
He said, that PP's been good to me.
Yeah. A little stiff when I get out of it, but you know. Yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah, just sit her out.
That's a good spot. Yeah, you don't want to get up. You just sit it out.
Which is funny, man. Like, how many times has he, like, and he will, I'll give him credit. Like, he'll sit that damn thing out, and he's like, you know, like, I'm tired. Like, I'm done. And fucking Buck just shows up, and he's like,
it was like the last day, next to last day, yeah.
You know, that. It's all weather, man. That's really what it came down to.
Well, that's cool. If we can get these cameras out and running, this will be the first opportunity that we've had summer cameras running.
Yeah, we usually don't, because usually we're down there in August, September to set things up. Which a lot of those properties haven't been conducive to summer. Roberts is one that when we have had cameras running in June and July, we've seen big bucks down in there, and then the neighbor kills them, usually in September.
I've had good luck on my property with mineral.
Yeah?
Yeah, I typically get pictures throughout the summer.
I would assume Illinois would be good because we can't do a whole lot there beyond mineral, I don't think.
Can we do mineral in
We'll
Illinois?
have to check that on the CWD regs.
Okay.
I think we can in that area, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, if not, I don't know unless we find like an awesome scrape where we just like set it up.
Yeah, those are tough to find, but that spot that I found in Ohio, like you could probably run a camera on that all year long. That scrape.
I mean, I've got bucks hunting
Picture that scrape I sent you.
scrapes that are shut out right now. I assume they'll continue to hit it year round. Probably. I've got a bunch of cameras out here in Pennsylvania on scrapes I haven't checked in a while.
So what kind of effort have you put into getting in touch with this landowner?
Like 15 phone calls.
Really?
And wrote our base camp guy, of which he said it's up to the landowner because he had a lease signed. It wasn't through base camp, it sounded like. He had a lease signed with somebody who forwent renewal.
Past tense of
Forgoes-
go would be went. For when?
Forgoes renewal. Forgone.
So what? It passed
It didn't
up.
renew.
They didn't renew.
But it's valid through end of March. That's why we started on April 1. Because I asked him, I'm like, hey, dude, this is weird. Like, it's like I paid for this in December, but my lease doesn't start till April 1. And he's like, oh, yeah, they had an agreement. They didn't renew. It's out of my control, but that's when it starts.
Cool.
I don't think it'll be an issue. I mean, literally, we're 4 days away.
I don't think so either. I think I can run faster than him probably.
I can
Definitely run
cannot.
faster than you, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have to master my camouflage. Yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue. So we'll go and visit and say, hey, we're here to walk your property.
Yeah.
I mean, really that kind of pinch up at the top on the north is like, that's the money spot we want to look at and be like, yep, stand needs to go here, camera needs to go here. Where it comes out of that thick stuff from the canal.
Dude, we got to figure out some names for these properties. I think we're talking about different properties. We can't get in touch with the landowner that lives on that solid block of rectangular timber. Oh.
Yeah, the other one.
Yeah,
we're
I thought you were
good.
talking about the other one.
No, the terrain one we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, that started in January.
Interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would have thought, if anything, like it definitely seems like they live there from the aerial maps and stuff. And you wrote a letter to the people to the northwest?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Mm. But it was like a trust, so who knows who actually got it.
Cool.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, because that's like swamp territory.
Yeah, I assume, I don't know. I'm more optimistic about this one that we do have permission on.
Me too.
I guess.
Yeah, it screams big bucks to me, the way it lays out, and especially if they're like, yeah, I don't care if you plant that backfield, and I'm like, oh my God, that's like a 3-acre field.
Are you still, would you consider another one if it came up? Another lease?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have they been dishing them out?
Mhm.
Seen any?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing good?
No, Colton and I put a deposit down on that West Virginia one, of which we got attacked by donkeys, so
Yeah.
we passed.
You got attacked by donkeys?
They were pretty violent. They were coming for us, man. I just wanted to sit in my car and eat my Jimmy John
Donkeys
sandwich.
are the weirdest animals, man.
There's a bunch of them in there, too.
Isn't a donkey like when a horse mates with a mule, and that's what it makes?
Don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Sounds like
I don't think donkeys exist in the wild. It's
wild donkeys, wild asses.
yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's a result of why don't you guys figure that out?
Genetic mutation.
I think it's donkeys or horses and mules.
I assume those were donkeys, right? They looked weird.
I'm right?
They looked very odd. Yeah. There was a bunch of cows in there, and cows and hunting and me don't go together at all. I just
Yeah.
approve of that.
See,
in all
my
aspects.
dad used to try to tell me that. He's like, "Oh, they don't mind them cows at all. They don't mind any attention." And I never really believed him, but then over time, I was like, "Yeah, that's false."
Yeah.
And I don't think it's
cows-
that they mind the cows so much as the fact that the cows just destroy the habitat.
Well, and it's a different ball game if you're talking about like cows in PA or Ohio and they're in a 100-acre fenced-in area versus Kansas when they're in a 1,000-acre fenced-in area.
Mhm.
Like we'll walk in and be like, oh, there must have been cows here at some point. No, they're still in that area. It's just they're a quarter mile that way or a half mile this way.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a difference. But, like, this was hammered. I mean, and they had access to almost everything. The one side of the road looked good. It was thick, but it's also West Virginia, so it's not like my hopes were real high.
Yeah.
So we passed.
Yeah.
Didn't lease it.
Probably the right move.
Yeah. I wish it'd been nice. It was within an hour drive of here, but, I think we'll be golden with what we got in the other states right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have an Indiana lease, too, that nobody stepped foot on.
I know, man. What are we going to do about that?
If Weston's not going to hunt it because he's wrapped up in public,
He doesn't seem like he wants to hunt it.
then I've got a guy, Mike Otten, who I'm doing some stuff with Outdoor America on. Mike's a super guy. He lives in Terre Haute, which is 40 minutes from that lease. Knows exactly where it is. And so I could have him running stuff for us and just be like, yeah, dude, you can hunt it too. I don't care. Have him pitch in.
There you go.
Split the lease with them. And then that way, if we get there, we get there. If we don't, it's not a waste. That's my big fear with some of these places is that, like, if we just don't hunt them, like, it's a complete waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least if, like, he's running camera and he's like, hey, yeah, guys, I got a 160 on here. We're like, yeah, I'm coming to kill that deer.
Mm-hmm. I would say it's probably a good move. I don't know when we're going to get to it otherwise.
So I'm thinking. So maybe I'll put him on, verify with Weston.
Need some boots on the ground.
Yeah, and it's nice. I mean, just like Kansas, we've got some people close by. Illinois is kind of the stretch where, and again, we may not even be able to put anything out anyways. It might just be set your cameras up in the right places and just hope for the best.
I mean, dude, if it's Kansas quality though, like, yeah.
I don't think so. I think it'll be good. Kansas is a whole different breed. Pressure, hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure in Kansas though.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
I think it'll be good.
I'm just talking in terms of like driving length. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'll get in and drive 10 hours.
9.5 to 10 hours.
Speaking of which, I'm like 6,000 miles over my mileage for a oil change.
It's not good.
My car said maintenance required for quite some time.
Yeah, not good.
It's been busy, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll get her changed. I'm pretty sure they put that on there just as a
just as a safety guideline.
Yeah, it's not like the engine is actually telling
Warranty.
your truck like, hey, maintenance is required. They program it, so like every 5,000 miles it says that. But.
So you're at like 11 on that same oil. Yeah, that's not great.
What do you mean check your oil?
No, Colton. I just said I didn't change it.
What do you mean? Wait, how do you check your oil? What do you mean?
Like with your dipstick?
That's still a thing, like in these new cars?
A dipstick? Yeah.
No.
Like pull it out, clean it off,
Wow,
put it back
I
in.
forgot about that.
Pull it out, wipe it on white. If it's like dirty and nasty, then yeah, it's not good.
No, I haven't. I'm just assuming it needs changed.
I would assume so as well.
Yeah, it's running fine though for now. I keep it full of gas, so.
Oh yeah. Don't worry about it. As long as it's moving, it's still working.
It's rolling. Yeah. My old 4Runner used to
It's a 4Runner.
break down all the time. Yeah, she'll run.
She'll run.
She'll run no matter what. I've only got like 86,000 miles on it. She's got at least 250 in her.
Oh yeah. Yeah, your old 4Runner. Did it roll 200?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 230, 240.
That's
Something like that. It could have gone longer too. I didn't have enough money to replace the radiator at the time, so I just kept pouring water or peeing in it. And
yeah,
I did that a few times. It worked.
Your vehicle smells like piss.
You're like, I know, but it's running. And eventually I just overheated it, and I had to push it to get it home.
Mm-hmm.
And it fried like one of the piston chambers or something.
Probably should change the oil.
It got to the point where it was like sputtering, and it wouldn't run.
Missing a cylinder.
Yeah, so I kind of had a sweet deal with. They weren't planning on like selling it or anything, but you know how the dealership will pay for your vehicle.
Yeah, push it in.
I took it in, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you whatever $6,000 for it. This is before this happened, and then I was like, okay, cool. I was saying I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to turn it in yet. This happened like 5 days later. And I said, hey, I'm ready to do it. Let's go ahead and do this.
Sounds like a fair deal.
I said, is it cool? I just bring it back in. And I said, it's, I just had a minor issue. I'm going to bring it on a flatbed. Is that fine? They're like, yeah, it's no problem. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, so I just brought it in on a flatbed. And they're like, yeah, just leave it in the back. And then I signed the paperwork and got out of there. Yeah, they gave me the same amount of money for it.
Suckers. Yeah. Very nice.
Idiots. Good for us.
Idiots.
Good for me and you.
My dad bought his new truck. I went in because I was leasing our Ranger for the company, and I was like, oh yeah, like my dad wants to buy a new one, and they're like, oh okay, cool. And then we like got to his trade, and they're like, so what do you know about his F-150? I'm like, oh yeah, it's like immaculate. Like he takes great care of it, and like they're like, okay, cool. And they
$250.
They wrote it. They did everything, and they're like, okay, yeah, like here's where we're at. And like call my parents, and they're like, yeah, like. Like that seems like really high for his trade. I'm like, God, don't worry about it. Like I negotiated it. I like doing this stuff. Like, oh, okay, cool. And then my dad like calls me when he gets there. He's like, yeah, he's like, like the quarter panels are like rusted through. He's had like 40,000 more miles than you told them. I was like, oh, minor things. Like I'm sure they'll be fine. I think they did.
Yeah.
Must be a high demand. They got to make bank on that stuff for used cars.
They do. We've got some used car dealerships down by us in Pittsburgh, and they move a lot of cars.
Buy it for $2,000, flip it for $6,000.
Yeah, the trick is they don't do any credit checks, and so
straight out.
Their business is like repoing vehicles.
Yeah,
because they put
That's where they make their money.
Put a down payment on a car, and then they make payments on it for 2 months, and then
fail, repo it, keep all the money. I get it.
Yeah, not the kind of business I want to be in necessarily, but seems lucrative.
Does seem lucrative. Well, I guess we're gonna get on the road here soon.
Yep.
Gotta drop Corey's buck off. Looks really good.
Yep.
Mount.
Yep. Got Corey's mount. I'm gonna go drop that off. We're gonna. You have anything to do?
Go to Pittsburgh. Gonna finish up a couple things quick.
300 words.
Yeah, I'll be done.
Bang that out. I probably need to touch base with everybody on some trout route stuff. And but other than that, I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Head to the airport.
Yeah.
Get the car.
That's today. Rocking and rolling, man.
I assume we just like go and park like at the airport like we would if we were flying.
I'm pretty excited. I
think so. Because then we're flying back in.
Yeah, just park in long term. Right?
Extended.
You'd go extended?
I go extended.
For a 3-day trip?
I mean, that's what they say.
For a 3-day trip?
Yeah, probably.
How's the math work out on that? Isn't there like so many days it's cheaper to stay in extended?
I think it's always cheaper to be in extended.
Why is anybody staying short term or long term?
Because they don't want to walk. Because they're lazy.
I don't want to walk.
And we're walking for the next 4 days.
That's what I'm saying. I got to save my energy.
Then you're going to be on a plane ride.
I was just walking the other day. I'm still tired from that.
You'll be all right.
Okay.
Extended. Yeah, and then we'll be heading. Can we do some like not live necessarily because we might have language issues.
In terms of speaking English?
Well, no. In terms of cussing on social platforms and like that. Can we do like some like updates from the road type clips, you think? Maybe people want to know what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what else would they want to do besides know what we're doing?
I don't know. Yeah, we can definitely do whatever.
Live from the road, it's Hunter.
Hey, we can do whatever we want.
All right.
It'll be fine.
Cool. Well, we're going to get packed up here, hit the road. Follow us on social media for some in the field updates here over the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, if you like Jeremy's shirt, we're going to get some of those online here pretty soon. His kids will be fulfilling those for us out of his home office.
Yep, keep them busy. You know, they're not afraid of paper cuts.
I'm going to go pick a couple out of that box here in the meantime.
Sold out.
The only problem is like we only have 2 versions and there's like 2 of us.
Short sleeve, long sleeve.
So it's like one or the other. And we have hats. So it's like I don't want to rock too much stuff. So
yeah, be like a branded billboard.
Yeah, it'd be like uncool, you know what I mean?
Yeah, playing hard to get.
Yeah. So, but it is a nice looking shirt. I like it.
Yeah, they are comfy. They probably will be like $20. I don't know, something like that.
Cool.
What are we selling our hats for? 20?
I don't remember.
If you haven't bought a hat, you probably should.
Yep, we got hats on there. We got shirts on there.
Limited quantities.
So, cool. Well, next time you hear from us, hopefully we'll have some more sheds and
time to go on the road.
Some miles under our boots.
Here we go, 2021.
Starts today.
Peace out.
All right.
Take me